I feel like I'm going to be adding a lot of people who I'm just going to be drawing red X's over in like a couple episodes.
人間差別だ。人間だって大自然の一部なんすから、特別扱いするのはどうかと。見つけましたよ、ザイラ。
I mean, I gotta believe in human exceptionalism because one, there's no fantasy races in the real world, and two, we're the only ones able to voice our exceptionalism. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with another episode of Sentenced to be a Hero. We come back as we normally do with notes, comments, and a board. So let's go ahead and look at that board first thing. Where we got the board changelog, where I connected Tiareta to Kiva with a green line. I added the 3rd, 9th, and the unknown goddess to the board. And then, of course, I added Iblis and Sav and connected them to their respective groups. Additionally, also, we have a map edition. Thank you to the Discord and the people helping along there, where I have added the episode numbers of the journey so far. The Discord has been nice enough to only include the part of the map that would not spoil me, as again, I am constantly looking to not be spoiled. In this case, we got episode 1 at the forest. Sorry, my voice just keeps wanting to crack on me. It's already going bad. And then episode 2 and 3 at the tunnels, and then last episode at the fortress. Obviously, I could have just anticipated putting 4 and 5 here, but who would have known, right? So, yeah, that is the update to the board. So, on to notes. Given that heroes are meant to be the worst of the worst and are being punished in kind, it's odd to see them given the freedom to just move on their own, unsupervised. I get that their neck tattoos are like Suicide Squad kill switches, and the possibility exists that special restrictions can be placed on you through the tattoo work in it. But I'm not sure that it's been stated that they can track where you are via them. That would mean you could get an order to appear somewhere and just not show up, and then they'd pop your head like a balloon. But if you were evil, how much shit could you get up to while you were supposed to be on the march? Hell, even if you were good and just got delayed, pop. Resurrected and done again. It's just a bad system. I would have expected them to have a commissar escort of some sort. By the way, while I was thinking about the oddity of them marching alone, a darker thought came to me. How many times do you think you'd have to be resurrected, and all the insanity that comes from that, until you attempted to deglove your own neck? If you're unfamiliar, degloving is a type of wound where a large section of your skin and soft tissue is torn from your muscle. It's a very gnarly thing. Do not look it up. Gnarly in the bad way, not gnarly in the, surfer dude way. Like a glove being pulled off. You can imagine, I'm sure. Given that tattoo forces you into multiple lifetimes of torture, a significantly motivated person might just attempt it. Worst case, you see hell for a little bit, and then back to normal human suffering again. Best case scenario. I said worst case, right? Yeah, sorry. Best case scenario, extreme unspeakable pain as you ripped your own flesh off of your body. You'd be left with a mass of scar tissue in its place that I guess you could try and explain away as though someone tried to hang you, but that'd just raise questions too. Ultimately, I guess, if there can be commands in the tattoo to prevent you from doing stuff, then I imagine there must be commands to prevent tattoo removal as well. That, or the fact that your body can be destroyed and they can still bring you back, must mean that it's more than skin deep. They tattoo your very soul. So either the Kingdom of Met is real and is additional world building, or Venetum made it up along with the rest of the game. I'm likened to believe that Zig is a real game in some aspect. It's not like he created a whole game board and pieces just to fool Tiretta for no reason. Plus, the best lies have some truths to them. Dragon Drunk, a poem book by drunken poet Altiard Comet. In his old age, he practiced flying every night until it killed him. There were lots of poets like him back then, I imagine referring to a time before the Fourth War of Subjugation. We do hear the first War of Subjugation later on in the episode. Anyway, I'm just taking note of this just in case the name comes back up again or someone with that last name comes up again. I feel like there's a reason they told us about it. I just don't know what it is yet. With Kiva present, even a goddess like me shall be able to attend. I guess implying that her movements are being limited, like when Xylo told her to stay put in the mines, except that where knights were present, she cannot wander then. Just my read on it anyways. I don't know why she would be limited to movement unless they were trying to protect her, and as we learn later in the episode, that doesn't seem to be their motivation. This marvel did not yet exist in the time I was created. Tioretta. Sorry, I've been saying Tioretta. That's Tiorita. Tiorita is older than Candy. I have no words. We hear from Kiva that she was found in the northern ruins, but the script on her container matches the script we see being used everywhere else, so she isn't older than the language everyone's using. Shit. Someone remind me in the comments, because I'm probably going to forget. Someone remind me that I said this. Specifically, the script on her container matches the script we see being used everywhere else. It's going to make more sense when I get further onto the notes. I completely forgot about this when I was doing something else later in the notes that took me forever. But something I want to go back to, and I know I'm going to forget. So somebody in the notes, or on the Discord, or somewhere, someone, remind me script on the container. Also, I should say that doesn't even make sense, the older than Candy thing, because it seems like people were more advanced the further back you go. So it seems like Candy should have been abundant. Maybe she just didn't know about Candy. They treated her different. We got the first mention of the first capital. I believe I mentioned in the reaction that I thought the second capital was a reference to the fall of the first capital, but it seems as though there are just two capitals here. Flavored shaved ice is a popular treat in the first capital, meaning that it's either somewhere warm, where a cold snack would be greatly appreciated, or it's somewhere cold, where ice would be readily available. I suppose it all depends on the availability of refrigeration technology in this world. I should also note that I don't know what it means to have two capitals. I don't know if this is like a Eastern Rome, it would be Western Rome, Byzantine Empire sort of situation. Or, maybe the royal family just needs two capitals. I don't know. I just don't know what it means yet. The death of Sinerva caused a rift between the military and the church, as the military got the idea that if a goddess can be killed, they can be made as well. Which, I don't know, seems odd to consider Dota's line about thinking that the goddesses were built. I believe he even describes them as a whale-like creature or huge iron things. So I don't know if he's actually talking about goddesses or something we'll see later, like tanks or submarines or blimps. It's just also, the element that Dota was giving us valuable information in episode 1, as opposed to it seems like Kiva is giving us valuable information now, and this is supposed to be the thing. So remember when I said the language in the show was beyond translation? I think that was back in episode 1. That it must be a cipher from fantasy language to Japanese, which I then would never be able to translate because I don't understand Japanese. Well, when Kiva held up a piece of paper that was very clearly visible to the screen, I spent an hour doing cipher work on it, and I translated it. And it was basically what they said on the screen anyways, so nothing gained there, but I'm hoping it will give me a chance to learn things the show might otherwise share in the future. Hopefully future me has put up my little translation work thing here on the page. I recognize it's not going to be much because I didn't type it on top of the thing. I'm about to read what I translated, but the element is that I took the little bits of script and then put a little translation cipher on the side. So if you want to learn what they're saying and have the patience to stare letter to letter, there it is for you. Headquarters, Galatul Army, to Patash Kiva, commander of the 13th Order. 1. The 13th Order were given the task of transporting the 13th goddess, Tioretta, who's discovered in some ruins to the south from the ruins to Galatul Fortress. 2. The military analyzed goddess Torita's body. The military and the temple agreed that she will be the subject of analysis, as she is noticeably inferior when compared to the other 12 goddesses. The military will dissect carefully so as not to kill her in order to unlock the secret of how goddesses were made. There's some signature. Obviously, I can't translate that because that's written in cursive, and I'm only translating non-cursive. Sorry, my brain's not working. General Galatul Army. So again, that's what her thing says, and then when I got done with that and listened to what she said, it was exactly the same, so I gained no information. I did go back to the first episode to use this knowledge to translate the cover of the book that we see in the first few seconds. Well, stupidly, I know now that it says the prison records of Penal Hero Unit, and then symbols for numbers I do not know yet, which is just the name of the show. So I know the name of the show is Sentenced to be a Hero. I guess it's the name of the manga. So if I wanted to, I could just tell you the numbers because I would just look up the name of the manga. But now that I can translate stuff, although I will say it's actually, I'll finish off on this specific note. I will say there seems to be two styles of writing taking place that make for having two different symbols meaning the same letter sometimes, as well as there actually being typos in the translation. As you may have just heard me read before, that wasn't me fucking up. The translation is just that way sometimes. But yeah, even if you look at Kiva's note or Kiva's correspondence or whatever you want to call it, the text at the very top and the text that makes up the bulk of what I translated, some of those are just drawn differently, or some of them just have the same letter drawn in a different way. So there is a bunch of smudgy drawing, I should say, where it's hard to tell. There are, I would say, 4 letters that are just a, a greater than symbol drawn in slightly different ways. You just got to figure it out. But there's also like 3 different ways to draw an A, 2 different ways to draw the O. And since I wanted to get this recording done sometime today, and it's 4 a.m., and I started taking my notes at 2 a.m., as I said, I spent an hour translating something that earned me nothing. It was translate the rest of the book, which, by the way, there was no point. The moment I started translating, I was like, wait a second. 2 seconds from now, this is going to vanish, and it's going to turn into English anyway. So, yeah. So, yeah, there we go. In the future, I'll be able to look at stuff and know what it says after an appreciable amount of time. Goddesses came during the First War of Subjugation, the Great Civilized Era. If the Fourth Subjugation War is when when the Blight first arose, then what was this for? Could the Blight be a goddess type discovery from this era? A goddess with a gate to Blight, or just another type of weapon used during that first subjugation war? Kiva says they awaken to fight demon blights and then go back to sleep. But if they were created for the first subjugation war, and the demon blight only appeared during the fourth, then it would stand to reason that the blight existed during the first. The goddesses put it down and then went to sleep, then woke up again when the blight awakened during the fourth, making me think that my theory is correct and someone found a ruin and unleashed the blight by mistake. The goddesses act as a kind of gate with different natures to each of them, just to add information. I'm keeping all the goddess notes together, I hope anyway. So we got an isekai goddess as a rumor. I mean, true or untrue, it's funny that it's even a rumor. And I guess this makes the anime a horror isekai, as the dude got brought from his world and tortured so extremely as to be what he is now. Interesting that it seems like the different orders are numbered based on what goddess is with them. The 9th order has the 9th goddess, as we get told in this episode. We know that there are 12 other goddesses beyond Tiorita, so that makes her 13, and the 13th order has been with her since the failure to transport. That would mean that since Xylo was the former captain of the 5th order, Sinerva was the 5th goddess. Venetim reminds me of Victor Lustig, the guy who scammed multiple people into buying the Eiffel Tower. I don't know if that's his inspiration or whatnot, but that's what he reminds me of. Now that I can make out the text, Venetim's gossip column headline was The Demon Lord's Secret Invasion. And as the guy says, spies under the influence of the demon blight pretending to be human have infiltrated the temple, Galatul, and the royal family. And Venetim was arrested because this was true. I'd be shocked if I hadn't guessed the sort of thing would play out in episode 1. The moment you start throwing around an infection, and then you only show animals and plants, obviously the first thought has to be, well, what if it happens to a human? Well, now we know. Well, actually, technically, we knew back in the mine, because we saw those people, but apparently there's a controllable human blight infection, too. They say they will include something special in Venetum's seal to prevent him from speaking the truth in the future. I have to wonder what it is, because it can't be as simple as only being able to lie. We've heard him tell the truth. Even preventing him from talking about this seems odd, since he danced around it with Xylo a moment ago, without consequence. And no real benefit for dancing around it either. Like, he says, I almost saved the world once. What happened if Xylo was like, oh, tell me about that? Just like, clam up? Like, what was his goal in just saying that? I know he, like, is a show-off guy, even though he's a coward. Like, hell, maybe the thing they added to the tattoo made him a coward. But the idea being, what was the goal in saying that? Sorry, I didn't mention, but that was my final note, and we do have some comments. Rogue Knight from the Patreon, from the episode Standby Order, Mureed Fortress. Both comments are from this, so thank you for another great reaction. I totally see how my comment could be interpreted in different ways. What I meant was that by episode 4 for the anime, which you just watched, which is still the first light novel, we already knew something about what the Blight was. I trust the anime to develop things as needed, and we already are getting off. Oh, sorry, we are getting. Sorry, I don't know. We are already getting some of that here. Love hearing your thoughts and ideas. Look forward to seeing what you are right about. Well, I mean, so am I, but I'd always prefer to be right than wrong. But sometimes I was about to say, the thing is that being wrong can be detrimental from the standpoint that I often create storylines the show doesn't do that I then find more interesting than what the show does. I don't mean this show specifically. I just mean in theory craft in general. If I come up with something really cool and I think that really works and it explains a bunch of shit that the show never goes off to explain, and then the show does something else, and I'm disappointed that the thing I was hoping to see doesn't happen, my excitement level decreases a little bit. At the same time, the show can always do something more impressive than what I imagined. I don't know. It's a me thing. Alright, next up we got Canaris4, also from the Patreon. Maybe the white-haired coward isn't the leader of the penal unit. He could be so much a dead weight that it's not worth the effort for Xylo to try and get him to do any work, though that doesn't explain why he was allowed in the command room. I didn't remember them ever revealing that Tetsuya was from another world. I think he might be the most plot-insignificant character to have ever revealed to be isekai'd into the setting. Like, I have seen the main villainous be characters who were from our world. May I ask for one final thing? I didn't see that was very good. I didn't watch that, sorry. I'm talking about the trailer. The trailer didn't seem very good. But never a random party member. Was he the first hero? Were they summoning people from our world before they settled on having heroes be a penal system? Is the reason he never speaks is because he doesn't know the language? They just point at him at monsters and he smashes them because they're monsters? At the very least, he knows what people are. I figured when His Majesty cried out in episode 3 to Norwell, Norbert, Nor something, checks board, Norbel, that was the name of the plant monster that they were fighting. Well, I mean, if you already checked the board, then you know that that's wrong. That's not the name of the monster they're fighting. They were fighting, sorry, I was going to say Ibis because that's the monster they're fighting now. Lotus, they're fighting Lotus at the time. I mean, Norgale is his name, so he shouted his own name. I mean, there's people like that, you know. That's the joke some people have about shouting their own name during sex or something. What is that called? Not that specific thing. The Greek thing about the person who drowned because they were so in love with their own reflection. It's literally probably just the word that I can't remember. I don't even remember the person's name because that's where we get a bunch of those words from. The Greek myth or mythos around the thing. Not coming to me. Anyway, to the other thing. Yeah, like I said, it becomes a horror movie at that point, or a horror isekai. Because put yourself in Tetsuya's position. Make him the main character. You got summoned to the world to be a hero or whatever, and just get ground the fuck down to the point that you don't have memories of anything. Tetsuya is the shield hero equivalent of Log Horizon. Log Horizon, everyone gets summoned into an MMO, which is based on the real world. So it's the MMO world with like the ruins of the real world because that was just the MMO. And every time you die in the MMO, you go to this other location for a little bit before you get brought back into the MMO world because you're basically immortal. But the idea is that you lose memories of the real world every time you do. So we know that when you die as a hero before they bring you back, you lose aspects of who you are, your body, whatever. By the way, body dysmorphia is also a thing in Log Horizon because you're brought into the world into your avatar's body, which may be taller, shorter, male, female, like different from what you were in your real life. Because I remember that was a thing. One of the characters is shorter in real life than they are in the game, and they have that little effect of like when you walk down the stairs and you think there's one more stair and you like really slam your foot in, that sort of thing. Anyway, that Tetsuya is losing memories of the world he came from the more he dies. So the element is, if like what you're saying, that he doesn't know the language. He didn't know anything. For him, he never knew anything about this world. Possibly, who know hell knows how many times he died before now. But the element is that he doesn't know his own world. Even if he is isekai, probably couldn't tell you a damn thing. Well, anyway, those are the comments. That was the board. Those were my notes. Nothing left to do but to see how the mission goes.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
名前はサーブ。
はーい。
仮名はなく、通称は食人鬼。
なあ、グエンモー社の教団に育てられた暗殺者はそういう
Okay, I guess we're just gonna see how everyone got arrested at some point.
好き放題やってくれたな。
ああ、実は違うんすよ。俺は正直者なんで言っちゃうんですけど。殺したのは12人、5割増しです。
That is math.
俺って根が真面目でお人よしじゃないですか。貧乏くじ引きっぱなしなんすよ。
人を殺した。そこに罪悪感を覚えないのか。
あはは、すみません。いいとか悪いとかの話ですか？俺道徳観念ってマジでわからないもんで。そりゃ気に入った相手を殺したら嫌な気にもなります。
Unlimited Blade Works. So he's more laughy than that guy.
俺が教団に頭の中まで影響されないで済んだのもバカすぎてその辺よくわかんないからさね。
You've ever talked about Gwen Musha before?
教団のやり方は知っている。苦痛、薬物、快楽。あらゆるものを利用
No,
して
he did mention assassins, so I guess we're talking about like Old Man of the Hill thing.
やだな、責任感じちゃうな。
怖くないのか。お前は良くて死ぬまで監禁、悪ければ死刑だ。怖くはないのか。
めちゃくちゃ怖いっす。でも怖がっても何も変わらないんで。ま、今のうちに楽しんでおきます。
I always wish I could have that fucking attitude.
普通の人間はそうはならない。想像力がないだけなの
But again, who would I be having it to? Can't fool myself from the thoughts I'm already having.
でも、よくわからないんすよね。自分と自分が気に入った奴らの損得以上に重要なことがあります。
I mean, obviously he gets along with the party. They were asking for him back.
君は殺す相手をどう選んだ？
Is he gonna be glasses guy?
ただ殺しやすかっただけっすよ。
There we go.
ではこのタルディという男。
He's our main spy.
役所で白昼堂々わずか70秒の間に失踪している。
You've really given me some extra work on this one. Now I gotta can't just screenshot pages. I gotta translate them too.
俺にとっちゃ殺す難易度なんてどれも一緒ですよ。なので殺すのは心が痛まないような相手っす。
それはどういう基準で？
さあ、直感としか言えないっすね。なんとなく殺しやすかった。
なるほど。
Hate to have that description.
素晴らしい。
You know, just easy to kill.
君に死刑は生ぬるい。
死ぬより厳しい刑って。
そう、君を勇者刑に処す。
いや待ってくださいよ、勇者刑って。
ああ、そうだ。死ぬことすら許さない。
It would be more of a reveal if we didn't already know that heroes can't die. Also, not for nothing, I was kind of hoping that Sav was leaning up to killing Glasses guy. Not that I would think that he would die. Just the element that, well, I guess he would die, but the element might be that he himself is using the immortality thing. Or that just someone would replace him. I just thought that would be more interesting. Because, Sav is just building himself up, building himself up, building himself up. And he's like, how do you choose who you kill or whatever? And then Sav just kills him. It'd also subvert the element that we just saw him at the end of last episode talking to Venetim. And then he appears here. And then, personally, now that I'm saying that we're going to get like a bunch of these, because he was obviously the Glasses guy in the background of when Xylo was getting his tribunal. I don't know what you would call it. Kangaroo court. So he was there, I guess, influencing those guys. We saw him with Venetim. We saw him with Sav now. Don't really care about Dato. I apologize for those of you who might love Dato. I don't care. I want to see my guy Norgale. I want to see his trial? I don't know what you call it.
Hora! 俺って基本的にお人よしなタイプじゃないですか。標的を調べれば調べるほど、うわーこんなやつ殺せねえ、奥さんも子供もいるじゃんってなっちゃうんすよ。だからあんな男も勇者だとはな。
何回死んでもあの調子だ。
この話も何十回目かな。その辺の関係ないやつビチャビチャにしても。
I mean, I like the element of death is repeatedly changed to fail him. I mean, to change him.
すみません兄貴。また喋りすぎちゃいました？もう口かせとかはめとこうよ。こいつと同室になったら一晩中喋ってるからね。静かなの苦手なんすよね。ほら俺って教団で虐待みたいな訓練を受けた悲しい過去があるじゃないですか。その時地下牢に閉じ込められて。黙れ。二度も言わすな。
I mean, they specifically asked for Sav to join them again. This should not be a surprise. Although, Venom isn't here, pointedly. Unless we were just seeing an area that looked familiar to it. No, that's definitely the Iblis, who seems to be a slug demon. Look, it's not beyond me that Kiva and Xylo make a cute couple. And it clearly is going to develop that way. Them and their surrogate daughter, Torita.
見えたよ。フェアリーの石膏かも。マジっすか？どれどれ。
So does that involve a tattoo on the eyeball? That is possible.
この距離で見えるのか。
こいつの視力は人間離れしてんだ。サーブ、いけるか？
まあやってみます。しくじってもぶち殺さないでくださいよ。バークル社製のヒナギフか。
ああ、陛下が調律した狙撃用だ。
あ、でも本当にいいんすか？群れに仲間とかいたらかわいそうだ。
黙って撃てねえのか。
I mean, I already commented on this guy in the opening. They looked like a sniper.
どうすか？大当たりでしょ。で でもまだいるよ。はいはい。任せて大丈夫なのか。
こいつらの組み合わせはうるせえが仕事はする。
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Sav so far. Sav and Dota might be a bit much.
罠を仕掛けに行くぞ。なんだよ。
この状況でも諦めないのか。
俺たちが死んで喜ぶ連中の好きにさせてたまるが。それに。
Don't have the luxury of giving up either. What do you do? Just die and wake up again?
お前はこう焦って部隊を危険にさらした成り上がり者とも聞いていた。
そういうあんたはどこの貴族の出身だ？
貴族ではない。
嘘だろ。それで聖騎士団長なんてガルトゥイルが許すのか？
私の叔父は第一歳だ。
神殿のほぼ最高位じゃねえか。
Nepotism either way.
知らねえはずだ。
兄貴、終わりましたぜ。百発百中っすよ。
ドッタとツァードはここで待機だ。キビア、行くぞ。
At the same time, it seemed like she really did regret that her uncle was in a high position. Maybe she didn't want this job. I believe that is the 9th goddess, if memory serves.
残るそうだな、キビア団長。勇者どもの死を見届けたいなど、いささか悪趣味だとは思うが、無事を祈ろう。
私からも無事をお祈りします、キビア。
ペルメリ、あまり離れるな。
Hail Mary. Now we got a name.
こいつは女神殺しだ。
はい、フォード。離れません。
Didn't really need a name for this guy, but now he's on the
こ
board.
の度の役目、私は有用でしたか？
完璧だ。疑いの余地はない。
Head pat time.
でしたら、さすがペルメリーはないのですか？
了解した。さすがペルメリ。
You know, for stay back, he's the goddess killer. You're doing everything right here in front of him.
あれが第9の女神か。
ああ、ペルメリー様だ。
Poison
契約
goddess.
した第9聖騎士団の団長、フォード・クリビオスは知ってるな。
元は南に広大な領土を持つ貴族だったが、クリビオス産のワインといえば高級品だからな。ただ、置いてったのはワインとは似ても似つかねえが。
いやー、大変っすね。魔王を要塞に引き入れてこのオーダルを起爆するわけっすか？
Did we tell you to stay behind and
猛
watch?
毒でイブリスを殺し続ける。
それって俺らみんな死にますよね。嫌だな。なんか腹立つから誰か殺しとこうかな。
ああ、お前今なんつった？
I don't walk over when somebody says that.
喧嘩売ってんのか？お前みたいな勇者風情、調子に乗るなよ。
メロゾフレク。
分かったよ。
I'm just gonna fucking name everybody this episode.
なんで殺す必要がある？
腹いせですよ。兄貴だっていら
I feel like I'm gonna be adding a lot of people who I'm just gonna be drawing red X's over in like a couple episodes.
あ、人間差別だ。人間だって大自然の一部なんすから、特別扱いするのはどうかと。
見つけましたよ、ザイロ。
I mean, I gotta believe in human exceptionalism because one, there's no fantasy races in the real world,
軽口は結構です。
and two, we're the only ones able to voice our exceptionalism.
我が騎士にあるまじき行いです。
テオリッタ様、我々は責務を全うしていたのです。どうかお慈悲を。
ザイロ、キビアと楽しく偵察できたようですね。
Again, she's basically your mother figure now.
なんてこの世にねえ。
テオリッタ様、こちらは森で摘んだ木の実です。なかなか甘いですよ。
See? Like a child.
積みましたか？一緒に。それは楽しそうですね。
いえ、私はただ責務を果たすために。
ザイロ、我が騎士。第9聖騎士団を私は見ました。
お、そうか。
そうかではありません。
Dude, she's a child.
ですか？あの女神は一日に7
7 times.
だからなんだよ。
私はまだ1回も撫でてもらっていません。7回撫でろとは言いませんが、その半分くらい。
I mean, you almost did it once in the first episode.
そうか。そんなことより人手が足りねえ。このままだとフェアリーどもに蹂躙されて終
She's
わりだ。
adorable. I mean, adorable.
ブラモンに見慣れぬ者たちがその男に会いに来たと言っております。俺に
The prisoners?
お前ら
この要塞に詰めてると聞いたんで。
Oh no, the miners.
しがない
Okay.
恐怖でも手伝えることはありますよね。
You know we're here to fight to the death, right?
俺たちの状況は知ってるんだよな。
命を救ってくれた王と英雄を助けたいと思うのは当然。
I'm glad you still refer to my guy as the king.
俺たちは王でも英雄でもねえ。家族のところに帰れ。
俺たちのためでもあるんです。みんなこの辺りの集落出身なんです。鉱山に続いてこの要塞までダメになったら食いぶちも心の支えもなくなります。
気持ちはわからなくもねえ
I'd
な。
pan and focus on that guy.
よくぞ来た我が民よ。諸君らこそ我が王国の戦士、誠の意味での勇士である。
陛下、余計なこと言うんじゃねえ。
Oh, I was about to say, why is he on a cane, and I kind of forgot that he cut his own leg off.
なことわかってるよ。だがこいつらは
無論民に命を投げ出せとは言わぬ。しかし世を手伝うことはできよう。
は？
いかに複雑な聖印彫刻の作業であろうと、世が設計図を示せば十分な働き手となる。世に従う民の力があれば、この要塞も強固な軍事要塞と化す。
I can't imagine what he might be able to carve into the building.
共に勝利の栄光をつかもうぞ。
Kind of like the fucking pirate king now with the peg leg. I guess he just didn't have the ability to go to the repair shop like Dota did. Also, I just don't remember him walking around on a peg leg when we saw him earlier. But he wasn't paying attention, didn't think to look down.
ではザイロ君、作戦の説明をどうぞ。
That was the other thing. I've intended to try and translate the map that was behind the guy last episode. But it was bits of it that were kind of blurry, and they're proper nouns, which makes it harder to try and figure them out. And again, it's like 5 a.m. right now, and I wanted to get this recording done before the sun broke.
無理せず半日を目安に粘ってくれ。
聖印の調律を進めておこう。
それでザイロ君はどうします？
打って出る。
さすがは兄貴っすね。
陛下。
I mean, Tylo is the one with explosive throws.
イブリス本体を引きずり出す。奴が要塞に到達する前にあらかじめ仕掛けた罠で仕留める。全員が生き残るにはこれしかねえ。てめえふざけんなよ。殺すぞ。調子乗ってんじゃねえ。なんで勇者に命令
Okay, so these are the prisoners then.
お前らは人間以下だろうが。この女神殺し野郎。
兄貴を怒らせないでくださいよ。俺まで巻き添え。
I didn't think it was going to be a Xylo that was cutting him up.
なんでって、あんたの方がガタイが良くて元気もいいから、よく働くんじゃないかなと思って。
Makes sense. Pragmatic.
ザーブ、それなりに効果的だったとは思うが、二度とするな。
I like that. You did good, but don't do it much.
そうっすよね。やっぱ殺した方が良かった。いいって。
違う。さっさと運んで全員で止血しとけ。
I do like that for the way he treats everybody else, he doesn't do this shit to the gang, right?
で、
I mean, I guess what would be the point? You can't kill them, they just come back.
君に封書が届きまして、差出人は
ダメだ。封書は燃やせ。
差出人はフレンシー・マスティボルト。マスティボルト
マスターボルト。
確か南方のヤキの一族ですよね。こちらが兵を貸してもいいと。私個人としては、ぜひとも協力を仰ぎたいと。できれば。
この話は終わりだ。
Conceivably, Silo has implied that you can't be the head of an order without being from a noble family. He was the head of an order. We don't know if he's from a noble family.
ニーリーに無理をさせたくない殺すぞと言われました。ライノーからは無視されてます。
Yeah, I thought about adding like spots to those two because they mentioned them last episode too.
傭兵の方は
連絡はしてみましたけど、報酬がないことには。
金策はドッタがやってる。間に合えばいいんだが。早いとこコークたちは下げろ。あいつらにまで戦わせるなんて世も末だ。
Again, I would think he would just be like carving shit into material.
ザイロ君、もしですよ。実際に人類を破綻させたい人々がいるとしたら、どうします？
So yeah, his thing can't be that he's restricted from talking about this.
何？
He's really pushing it.
ザイロ君は陰謀論は好きですか？
クソくだらねえ。お前が書いてたイカれた記事のことは知ってるが、魔王崇拝者だとか強制派だとか、どう考えても
Coexistence advocates? How does that even work with the blight that we do know?
実際に魔王を崇拝したり、魔王との共生を掲げる勢力が人類を負けさせるために動いているとしたら、納得できませんか？
So it could just be cultists. He could be working with cultists that aren't actually aligned with the Demon Lord. Demon Lords.
そんな奴らがいるとしたら、クソったれのゲス野郎どもだろうな。
Now I feel like there's gonna be a twist here. Like Ventim as actually one of them now. That we saw the backstory and we missed a middle part.
魔王はまだ遠いな。
来ましたよ、我が騎士。
コシタバワーだ。大軍の先陣ってとこだな。さあ。
It's ironic, so when I was talking about the cultists, I was thinking World of Warcraft. Which had the cultists spreading blight.
後方支援つったろうが。
I mean, he's not out on the ground, he's on the ramparts. Kinda is support. Okay, good, he was carving stuff. I mean, this really feels like the thing to bring back that device he showed off in episode 3, huh? Or was it episode 2?
ちょっと前に出過ぎじゃないですかね。ベネティブさん、ぶっちゃけ陛下に何かあったら要塞持たないっすよ。
私も必死で止めたんですよ。でも話を聞いてくれなくて。ベネティブさんから口先の出任せ取
Wait,
ったら何
this is the end of the episode already?
ちょくちょく失礼ですよね、サーブは。
騎兵の道を開く。キビア団
You're
長
just getting into things. Oh, they're in just the worst position. Are they even going to be able to fall back with the barricades? Kind of feels like these things are weaker than they were back in the forest. Yeah, luring them. That is a good plan.
兄貴なんすかねあれあれって
ああ、こっちも確認した。信じたくねえが。
I guess they're different from the ones that we saw in the mines? Why were the sacred seals ruined? Because a couple of arrows hit them? Oh, I thought Zap cut its head off. I didn't notice. I also kind of forget sometimes there's no next time on. There's also the element he threw his blade back, or his axe, hatchet, whatever, and it like cut into the thing's legs. You heard the blood splatter effect. I thought it was going to collapse or something. Apparently it just ran right through that shit. And I guess I didn't notice before that these were like, what would you call these guys? Headless dinocorns? Because they're unicorns, sort of. They got unicorn horns. They got two of them. So instead of uni, they would be di. So dinocorns? But they have no head. So headless dinocorns? Get very super specific about it? Yeah. Again, I don't know why Venetum is going on and on about the thing that got him arrested, right? Or got him made into a hero, rather. Because it feels like that's like a giveaway for the we can't have you talking about this thing. And I don't know what they would have done to his tattoo to make it not happen. Maybe there's something here. Maybe the element is that he's a coward, right? So what's he want to do? He wants to get away from this. Well, what's something that he's doing differently right now than what he normally does? Well, one, he's not running away, assumedly because of whatever deal is going on. Well, no, because he made the deal that if all of them run away, so if just one of them stays, they all don't die, I assume. Maybe there's something on the seal which will teleport him away, will force him to run, something, if he says the right thing. And that would be saying just enough to allude towards the thing that he wants to say. But then again, that doesn't even matter. Apparently everybody knows what he wrote back in the day, to the point that Xylo still remembers it now. So it's out there. The stuff is still out there that he said. I don't know. I just don't know. Certainly there's not that much stuff, I feel like, in this specific episode that is going to add to my world building. I think the only thing really sticking with me right now is when he brings up to Kiva the element that you don't get to be the head of an order without, being a noble, having somebody go into bat for you. And she implies that she's got a uncle in the temple, which I'm going to assume is probably going to be one of those masked people who burned Xylo before. And also she's not happy with the relation, it seems like. So there's going to be more there interpersonal for her. And then again, someone's sending messages to Xylo. I mean, blanket statement that they're offering help for the current situation, but I don't know that they might not be doing it because of Xylo himself, because it was addressed to him. And was that like a phoenix or an eagle or something in the wax seal? But Xylo, sorry, the element, I keep wanting to call him Xylos, and it's Xylo. Him bringing up the fact that you had to have a noble family or something like that just kind of feels to me like we're saying that to inquire about Kiva, but we're saying it to imply something about Xylo. And then him getting the letter. It seems unlikely that Xylo comes from nothing, but it seems also equally as likely that he would have been disowned for the perceived crime that he has committed, right? Oh, and of course, my guy, Pegleg McGee over here. I must have missed hearing him walking down the hall and doing a peg leg sound. If they panned back and showed he had the peg leg, I didn't see it. I think I focused mainly on the fact that Dota got back from the repair place. They named it something for repair something. And the idea that they might give you a new leg that's somebody else's leg or something like that. So I guess I just expected that. But the element is, he hasn't gone anywhere. He's still been with the group the whole time, so he wouldn't have had a chance to vanish for 2 episodes like Dota did, where apparently he went to the repair shop. That was it. It's a repair shop. So yeah, I guess at some point I'm going to be sad because Norgale is going to disappear for a few episodes to get himself repaired. It's either that or he's going to inscribe something into his peg leg, which is going to then give him abilities when he needs them. Maybe he's done it already. Who knows? Maybe that's what he needed the boost for. Well, anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode, because I can't think of anything else I need to bring up here. I mean, other than the fact that we met the 9th goddess, but I was already at the point that I added her to the board. So now I guess we get something to attach her to. Because also, 3 new characters now? Who, let's face it, I don't think are going to survive the next episode. Anyway, as I said, I think that's going to be it. So once again, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?